I have a video game that I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play myself some. I think you've heard of it. I think it's Mario Golf Super Rush.
Sounds boring.
I've already played a few hours last night.
Enjoy it, right? Everyone is some reason everyone talks about it.
And hello. We are Pixel Pints. We are the only podcast. Well, I say that we're the only one. I'm assuming that we're the only one that talks about two things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. We aren't here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. And game responsibly as well, particularly when your games involve battle passes, microtransactions, randomized loot, boxes, all of those things akin to gambling, releasing dopamine in your brains. Don't get fooled. And don't get fooled by people saying that Nintendo won E3, because those people would be wrong.
True.
Xbox won E3.
Sony has a state of play next month, so
Well, EA's got EA Play next month as well. EA could win July on E3 gaming press conference.
PlayStation or EA could win Summer's Game Fest.
yeah.
Is that still a thing? Summer Game Fest?
It's still a thing.
Ugh.
With Keeley.
Yeah, one thing that I saw, going back to what you guys were talking about last week. Thanks, Evan, for your editorializing. Yes, I do not like fun. I hate fun. As soon as something fun happens, I need to try hammering a nail into a wall, but missing on purpose and hitting my finger on my thumb, because I hate fun that much. I only buy subscriptions services now. I don't buy any bespoke anything, even clothes. I don't actually buy myself clothes. I sign up to subscription services. I sign up for a subscription service to get my haircuts as well, because you can do that now, because through the power that is Xbox Game Pass, you get a whole host of other subscriptions that you can sign up to. Allegedly.
Yeah, life is very convenient today.
Is it me talking about Xbox Game Pass has sent me to sleep, so that's fine. Now I know what I can do in future. And what else was I going to say about last week? One of the things that I saw afterwards was the ESA refused to allow Jeff Keighley to show off the new DualSense controllers. But then they got showed off in the Ubisoft conference, and there was a few people on social media going, Sony, you told them they couldn't show the new controller of Jeff Keighley. Was it, well, why would they? If Mitch wants to sell his car, I'm not going to let him do it from my driveway. Fuck off. That made no sense to me, that people were saying that somehow Sony had got one up on the ESA after them saying to Jeff Keighley that he couldn't show the new DualSense controller. It doesn't. The whole fanaticism around E3, particularly Nintendo, particularly you lot from last week about Nintendo, particularly someone who lives in Japan talking about Nintendo. It's just kind of whatever. I hate fun. That's why I come on this show, so that I can get told that I hate fun. That's someone texting me now to say, do you hate fun? And I'm going to text them back and say, yes.
You must kill fun. You need to kill fun.
Oh, God, that game looks so bad. And there's people talking up how good I saw a couple of things online afterwards about how well the demo plays. It was like, ugh.
Oh, you're talking about Chaos?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Origin something.
Strangers in Paradise.
I mean, there's a niche for people that enjoy games with so many systems. Of course, for most people, that's really really crowded and so complicated to master or pay attention to. Like you need to keep a spreadsheet next to you with what everything does and how it connects to everything. But yeah, that looks like a game stuck in seventh gen.
Well, my only pushback on that is like if you now, I don't have a PS5, unlike some people in this podcast, so I haven't had the experience to see how many systems there is. But if you played Neo or Neo 2, like that, it's what Team Ninja does.
Yeah, so Team Ninja fans will be enjoying this.
Well,
Yeah, get good.
I enjoyed Neo, so I might
Yeah,
enjoy the combat in this one, even
it's
though
just
the
the
setting's
writing.
not amazing, but the rest seems fine to me.
If no, the writing. Ugh.
Oh, I don't disagree. I think the writing is horrible.
And a few things to get out of the way before asking how these two are. Happy birthday to Mike's Q in Pennsylvania. He's probably out in the woods covered in mud or making a sword for himself. I can't think of what else he could be doing. Happy birthday for tomorrow to Dan. Happy birthday, Dan. Enjoy your real time strategy turn based birthday. I don't know how that's going to work. It could take a while. And
Happy yesterday or when was it? On Thursday?
yeah, and well, I know I was going to say that there was no need for these people not to come on the show today because it was their birthday, because Mitch is running OBS now and not Matt. So Mitch doesn't hate birthdays. Matt obviously hated birthdays, and that's why he sabotaged all the birthday episodes.
I've sabotaged a birthday episode. I'm surprised you don't recognize it. I sabotaged yours. Remember the audio didn't work? I was trying to play a birthday background and I had the audio from the background playing over all our sound. And everyone's like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah, I
all I
do
can
remember
hear
now.
is this background, just this background making this music and
I blotted that from my memory, obviously.
repressed memories."
Whilst you're talking, how are things in LA, Mitch?
It is morning. The sun is rising. The sun will come up today. Because it's 5:30 in the morning. It's good. It's just, it's same old. Unfortunately, eventually things will change soon. Hopefully.
Cool. Michael, how are things down by the seaside?
We had our nationwide storm, and now it's getting warmer. So uneventful as always. Small place, chill. People are getting really excited on their balconies about the football matches, and they get it together uh, at the restaurants downstairs, and yeah, everyone is joyous. So it does feel like summer. They also have their parties on their balconies. So yeah, it's very animated, and that's throughout the entire city.
Oh, so they're getting
So
super excited about a football game that ended 0-0.
I don't know. They keep shouting
Well,
things.
they're getting excited about a football game that's not being played until Tuesday. Um,
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
watch it. I'll watch it. I'll support. I don't know who I want to win less, England or Germany. I'll start supporting Wales. Support Wales
Oh,
tonight.
sorry, Keith. I'm amazing. You know why? Because the Olympic trials are happening right now in the U.S. and so I'm obsessed. This is what happens when the Olympics happen. I forgot. Literally last night I watched both men and women's gymnastics, and I am excited to see night 2 for the next 2 nights, and then watch Wimbledon. I'm sorry. There's so much sports going on that I'm so happy.
Yeah, you don't tune into us to hear sports. Mainly, people don't tune into us.
What do you mean? It's Xbox. They always talk about sports.
That sounds like the old EA games.
Sports.
Yeah.
And
How you
yeah, so
it's,
and it's the first British and Irish Lions game being played at Murrayfield versus Japan. So I'll be watching that later on. Enough of this drivel. We're here to talk beers and games. So I'm assuming that neither of you have got any interesting beverages that you'd like to talk about, unless you do.
No, I have to work, so I have to drink Red Bull.
You have to.
I have no choice.
I'm
unless you want me,
forced.
unless you really want me sleeping when you were talking about Game Pass.
So I have Deja Vu.
Whoa.
That's going to mess up the screen, particularly with the blurry background that I've got on.
I like the art on it though. It's got that cool effect that it does feel like you're deja vuing.
Yeah, so this is probably a beer that you'd find in the oldest house in Control.
oh,
I
There you go.
almost thought you like when you're saying the oldest house. I was like, he didn't mean Control, did he?
Let's give a quick pour. Oh,
the
slightly more carbonated than I thought it was going to be.
with the name of the beer.
Bit hazy.
While he smells and sniffs, Raf, you will like you would enjoy Mario Golf because their story the story mode reminds me of Golf Story, except the only thing is it lacks creativity with the storyline, but it's basically the same premise, an open world golf experience.
Are there any
Can you drop
RPG
the ball
elements?
anywhere? Can you drop the ball anywhere and just shoot?
No, not that quality. Yes, McWomble, there is RPG elements that that you have. You upgrade him as you progress through the game. So right now I'm in the second world, and then
Or them.
oh her yes him or her, yeah. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it.
I'm waiting for a discount on it. Also, I've got plenty of games to go for my backlog right now, so yeah, it can wait. But I want to play it at some point.
Unfortunately, can't wait for me. I have friends that play Mario Golf, so we're playing together today.
I can't play that. It's on my Switch is now in my bank account after trading it and a few accessories in. So there.
Because it's not a subscription service. We all get it.
Right. So it's surprisingly grassy tasting.
Do you eat grass often? Is that how you know?
No, but you can taste it. You can smell grass, and that's what you get. And then if you inhale that, you can taste it because that's how taste works. Like hay flavored. It's quite interesting.
So basically, you feel like a domesticated animal.
I could be a wild one. I could be some kind of gazelle, svelte and hopping. It's quite fruity as well. It's nice.
More like tripping.
Yeah. Deja vu.
Yeah, next time I'll go by the oldest house. I'll
pick up a couple.
Yeah, I'll find and see if there's a deja vu inside the oldest house when I play Control next.
If you not played Control yet?
Oh no, I've played it.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't played the newest DLC, even though I bought the package. The one with Alan Wake in it.
So whatever. I'm going to fly off on a tangent, and instead we should be talking about what we are talking about. And what we are talking about is game news.
You're the host. We expect you to do these things, not us.
Yeah, I don't know if anything of interest happened. Nothing really caught my eye, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, there were some big game. There were some big game news stories, mainly involving CEOs.
Rafa, never go there. Never go there with this man. This man comes up with these things you never wanted or ever expected to listen to. When he says there's game news, there's game news.
Okay.
Sorry, Keith. Sorry that he didn't trust that you have actual game news on your hands.
No, we do have game news. With E3 happening, there wasn't tons of stuff going on, but Rafa, who's happy that they don't have to be on half pay any longer?
Bobby Kotick.
He's right. Bobby Kotick won his vote, his shareholder vote, on executive pay at Activision, and he doesn't have to survive on $20 million a year next year. Does anyone realize how hard it must be for him to go from earning $40 million a year base salary plus $160 million in bonuses just to go down to $20 million a year? I mean, the man must be living off cans of spaghetti and stale bread.
Well, it's not like we tax the rich or anything. So it's not like that 40 million is actually 20 million at all. Like it's still 40 million.
Well, he did say he was going to go on half pay and not take a bonus. But if you were on 40 million last year, plus you gave yourself $160 million in bonuses, I think you'll be all right for the next year or 10.
And here's the thing. I think all of us agree the premise of that, Bobby Kotick probably does work super hard at his job. It's just not in our minds $40 million worth.
But it's not just the 40 million. It's then all of the bonuses that he agrees to pay himself.
Totally agreeance with you. Like it's like, in my mind, reasonably, like total with bonuses, 10 million. That should be plenty.
We also don't completely understand the dynamics of having that much money. I mean,
well, he's worth, is it $7 billion anyway? So I don't know.
Can you like when you have that much money, can you use it at any moment you want? Like if you suddenly decide you want to waste half of that amount of money on a house, can you just go and take it, or does it affect your business if you do? Like, are there any entrappings in place?
That's his money. I mean, the bonus he has to wait till the end of the year, but it's his money. He can go spend it.
And he's already agreed at the beginning of the year. So this is the thing. The structuring of contracts for executives is bonkers. So the current chief financial officer at Activision, I don't know which company he came from, but he was paid a $5 million signing bonus just for taking the job. And then he was paid his salary, and then he was paid bonuses on top. But the bonuses were agreed at the beginning of the year. So that incentivizes all the behavior and all the decision making throughout that entire year in order so that you can hit the targets to make sure that you get your bonus. So it's not really promoting what might be the best actions or behaviors for potentially the company, potentially then your shareholders, but then the studios which operate underneath you, and then the consumers and fans of your IP. Just throwing it out there that you've created this arbitrary target for yourself to meet and screw everyone else because I want my bonus at the end of the year.
No disagreements.
I don't have any strong feelings on the matter, but can anyone tell me how much he won the vote by?
No, I don't remember.
It was 54%.
Yeah, it was 53.8%.
Dang, he almost lost it.
I read
He's probably like
last time.
So it's 56%.
Lost the support of some people.
I was gonna say maybe he's gonna go like, I'm gonna hire the hitman to go off with their head. You're messing with my money.
it being so close to 50%, it makes you think that maybe there's some sort of understandings among these shareholders that they get certain benefits from him getting to keep his bonus.
Well,
Like
I think for most of the shareholders, they don't really care as long as their dividends go, as long as their dividend at the end of the year is paid out and it's what they wanted or more than what they wanted, they will not care.
Because if they affect his bonus, he may be not a decentiv- decentivized
De-incentivized.
to do a better job. And then they'll go, oh, I'm sorry, so sorry, your bonus wasn't, I mean, your dividends wasn't as good this year. And like, I just should have got that bonus. Maybe I would have worked harder. Like, that's what he would have said. So, like, I
this
don't
is
doubt
why
it.
it's a broken system.
Yes, and it's self-perpetuating as well, because if you end up in a that kind of cyclical argument of, oh, if I didn't get my bonus, therefore the dividend won't be as high, but if you pay me more next year, then the dividend might go up. So it's all messed up. And
It sounds like an
speaking,
insurance company.
well, the fact that Activision have got
Pay
their
more, you get
headquarters
to
in
pay
Holland
less.
as well.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the
Activision have
well, the biggest issue of it all is that, they started his salary that high. If they didn't start it that high, he wouldn't be asking for it. Sorry, as bonus. Like
yeah,
if they wouldn't pay him that much money in the first place, he wouldn't be going, "Oh, I'm sorry, your dividends is. You should have just paid me what I usually get paid." It's like I don't blame him for that mentality of thinking. It's just the amount of money that goes with that mentality of thinking is outrageous.
yeah, and then you've created an expectation that it will only ever go one way,
Yep.
Yeah.
which
And
can't
this
happen.
expectation
There will be some kind of bubble that will burst, and because who else notably had an agreement around their pay announced at the same time? Everyone's
The
favorite
guy from
Android.
EA, Andrew something, the guy
Oh
from EA,
no,
It's Andrew Wilson.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
it's
right.
Andrew Wilson.
his pay is going to remain as it is after a similar situation with Bobby. Whether or not they were
They
waiting for
probably
the
got a
outcome.
call together, being like, "We should get the same pay."
And talking of things that are a total mess, Mitch, what are people being told not to buy on PlayStation?
Oh, Cyberpunk 2077.
Pew, 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 pew.
And yes, this is the story that Cyberpunk 2077 is strongly advised not to be bought on base PS4. Mitch, who's not saying that they're strongly advising for it not to be bought on a base console?
CD Projekt Red.
It's Microsoft. Then
Oh, that
they
too. I
don't
mean, they
have
both are.
yeah, they don't have the same disclaimer that Sony's put up about performance on the base console. So whilst Game Pass is the ultimate in subscription models for games, they're letting themselves down on their storefront in terms of messaging to consumers.
Well, here's the crazy part: is they, in the first place, never took it down.
Yeah, that was.
Everyone's mad at PlayStation for taking it down. Microsoft still kept it on there.
And but what have Microsoft said that they will do with Cyberpunk 2077?
Refunded until July. July is your last time to get it refunded. I think, crazy enough, I think that's only for the online version, not the retail version, which I think, unfortunately, the people that are going to buy this game, that are going to have issues with this game, most likely bought it physically when the game came out. And crazy enough, one of my clients that I work with that has the game still has not opened his copy. And if I wasn't there to tell his mom, hey, shouldn't play it, like it's not going to work on his PlayStation, he's going to open it up and it's going to not work. So like it's crazy. It's just crazy. I just don't get it.
Yeah, the whole scenario is just
It's like,
bizarre,
how can you mess it up that bad?
and then still go ahead anyway.
Yeah, go ahead anyway, and then what? We're almost a full. I mean, it could be a full year before they
Yeah.
actually get the game fixed. But here's the other crazy part is, you know, if you bought the game now and you're trying to like get it, they're trying to fix it, you're adding gigs and gigs and gigs to your PlayStation or to your Xbox to get these updates because that's how bad it's not working. It's just like eventually it's going to take up more space than Call of Duty
Yeah,
for a game that's mediocre at best.
and until the next Call of Duty game comes out, and then it'll be
Yeah.
your
That's,
entire
that's,
PS5's hard drive.
this is disheartening because I'm holding out on playing this game until it gets fixed. And on one hand, everyone says like even with all the bugs, like even when it works, yeah, on the new gen systems, it's a very shallow game,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's extremely mediocre. I highly don't. If someone is waiting to play this game because of like, oh, bugs, I would just say skip it. Or
Although
like
my
read the
my
synopsis and then see if you like it. But I did not enjoy it.
although my bar for that is quite low, so I sort of enjoy mediocre games, but I also had the expectation from this game to be something really great, like above mediocre, and that's disappointing. And on the other hand, like by the time I decided that okay, they fixed this game, let me play it. I fear that by that time, because I don't think it will get fixed by the end of this year. We'll get a way off in 2022
Bold
when
prediction.
yeah, and after like imagine playing Cyberpunk in 2022 after you just finished something like Horizon Forbidden West, like or
Well, yeah, that would
other,
be terrible.
like that would be quite a palate cleanser to to go into that right after whatever great games come at the end of this year. So by the time it gets fixed, it could feel
By the time it
way,
gets fixed, The Witcher 4 and the announcement trailer might be out.
yeah. And they have a track record with all their games where they where not all their games were as broken, but I read about how Witcher 1 released in a similar state, Witcher 2 released in a similar state, right? They never got their game releases right at launch. They This is why enhanced editions existed in the first place. They had to re-release all each of their games to alongside all the bugs they fixed, right? And some consider that this next gen patch will have them re-release the game as an enhanced title, like a dedicated PS5 and Series X. Um,
Well, they don't have
as
those builds yet. That's the thing. They don't even have the builds to release it as an enhanced title. I don't know what they would need to do to the code to create that, because all the
yeah,
Series X and PS5 is doing is running the PS4 and Xbone versions slightly better.
Plus,
and they
they
are just throwing raw power at these games, and that's why they work better because they are poorly
no, it's not
optimized.
necessarily why it works better. Um, Well, first off, they haven't even started on the patches for the PS5 and Xbox Series versions because they still have to fix the current gen. Or we're in the current gen. There's no next gen versions
Yeah,
anymore.
last gen.
We're at last gen versions. The other portion of it is that even, and I've said it a bunch of times, but I'll say it again. The Witcher 3 is still broken after playing it 4 to 5 years after it released. This is a track record from CD Projekt Red for people that were going to be like, this is the best game ever. I warned you for the longest time to say I do not trust them in their track record. And again, I'm always open to have my mind changed. But if you have a track record, that's the thing I have to go off of. That's the evidence to support my argument. And right now, they don't have it. So, um, that
other than
However,
people just being stupid. So why were people so quick to believe that this was going to be the greatest game ever made, and actually undertaking some pretty disgusting behavior online
well,
against people who'd say anything different?
now I'm starting to believe
because
Starfield's going to be that.
all the gameplay footage they showed, and that it was a lot. Like
There's
when
only
you
one.
put
There's
out,
only one piece of gameplay footage they showed, and it was mediocre at best.
but like I don't know,
You're
because
talking about the Night City Wire episodes.
yeah, I watched all of those, and like it looks so well put together. Like even if it wasn't quote unquote gameplay, like you normally don't go into those and expect to be lied, right? Like okay, sure, you expect a few bugs at launch because, but not this disaster, you know. So I was really I was really fooled by it
But
So
here's the
I'd
thing:
give CD Projekt Red the award for best marketing campaign of any game, probably in the last
yeah.
5-10 years at least. And they'd
But
also get the award for lying bastards.
but there's still some hope, and I don't know because I haven't played it
there is no
myself,
hope. There is no
but
hope.
no,
You're
because
hanging on to a
there's
trend. You're hanging on to the thread of something that you wish was real, and it's. Let me just tell you the truth. Reality check. I played this on PC. Reality check. It's not that. It never was that. It
give me a
never
second
will be that. No matter what you want this game to be, it is not what you expect it to be. It is just another open world, slightly above average in some aspects, and sometimes it falls below the curve in regards to an open world first person RPG. That's literally
So
what this
I'm
game
saying
is.
this. I'm saying this only based on reception, but maybe Keith can confirm. Thronebreaker released in a good state, right? It was a good
Well,
game.
Thronebreaker
Thronebreaker is a basic game.
it is pretty basic. How dare you?
Gwent,
Thronebreaker is
I'm
brilliant.
sorry, but Gwent released just fine as well. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course it does because
No, I'm joking.
it's
I'm joking,
a
of
very
course.
Yeah.
basic mentality. But I'm only harping on this a little more because I know Starfield is in my mind as the next Cyberpunk 2077 right now. People are just
I'm getting the same vibes
Google
from
Gaga all over this thing. And here's the other part is, and I'll do this really quick so we can move on, Keith, is that the media helped support everything that was happening. And I understand that they're just like us and they were seeing things that apparently wasn't the truth. But at the same time, you have to go into it with speculation and you have to understand who is making these games. And let me just think out of the top of my head. The last Fallout game that came out, didn't that have a bunch of bugs?
yeah,
Well, the last Fallout game that came out was
the
shit.
hype,
Yeah.
the
So everyone just going like, "Oh my god, it's going to be the greatest. Starfield's amazing." It's like, "Come on, have some speculation going into this thing." We're talking about
Let me
Todd
tell
freaking
you.
Howard here, who sells you the moon every single freaking time he comes up on stage. And yeah, has some of these games came out and they've been great in some people's eyes. I mean, hardcore RPGs are just not my cup of tea. I'm just going to be truthfully honest. Yeah. So for some people, yeah, it works out exactly how they hope to be. So I cannot believe a game is going to be amazing if there is a shaky track record and all you're showing me is a title screen and a freaking CG trailer. It's not
It's
good enough.
almost as if the video games industry is training us not to buy games full price day one.
Ones that we don't are the ones that we don't know for certain will be amazing.
Yeah, but there's an argument in there about will we actually ever know that it is until people have got their hands on it, playing it full review. Right. Enough of CD Projekt Red being a bunch of, well, not the whole company, just the owners and executives, mainly in the marketing department, being a bunch of lying bastards. Michael, if I were to give you $28 million What could you afford to buy with it?
Mm, a mobile game company
Oh.
whose name I forgot.
No, 28 million, not 1.8 billion. Although there
Oh.
was most of the news is actually EA related.
Yeah.
Weird. So there's two news stories there. So I'll go for the first one. If I were to give you 28 million, what could you buy for it?
A mobile game company. Oh,
Mitch,
no,
do you
no,
want to
no.
help?
Actually, that was the other one. I don't know what. I might have missed that other one.
I don't recall.
This is the hacked source code for Frostbite engine.
Oh.
So did they pay?
I don't know, but the hackers who
Of
managed
course
to
they
get it.
paid. Are you freaking kidding me? Come on. Have you not learned anything from the United States? Like we
that's
pay.
1 day's FIFA transactions.
Remember how our gas line was hacked in, and the government said don't pay them. Guess what the company did? They paid them. Like they're always gonna pay them, even though it's the stupidest move in the world.
Yeah, well, apparently they didn't get any customer data, but does anyone know?
And the government did get half the money back. They were able to snatch it before it got into the hackers' bank accounts because it was all cryptocurrency.
So yes, does anyone know how easily the hackers managed to get access to EA's secure servers?
Probably pretty simply by just sending an email and saying "click here."
It was actually worse than that.
The Slack channel.
So they got into the Slack channel.
They sent an email like we locked ourselves out of the Slack channel. Can you help us?
Oh Jesus Christ!
And they received access in the Slack channel, and from there they just
what happened was they called up the IT support desk saying that they'd left their work phone in a bar after a party, and can they get access back to the work Slack channels that they had on their phone? And that's how they got access to the Slack channel. It was that simple. There was no questions asked. It was here's the login details for you. Thank you very much. And then from there, they managed to get access to more and more and more until eventually they managed to get access to the source code for Frostbite. So there's going to be some pretty gruesome hacks probably available at launch for Battlefield 2042.
Or kind of funny. I mean, not kind of funny. I'm sorry. Easy Allies. Look out. You're on Slack.
Or just don't give people access to your bloody Slack channel that easily. I cannot believe that that's all it took was one phone call.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder where all that money is going that you're paying to Slack for that security. Or that false sense of security.
It wasn't Slack's fault, though. It was whoever at EA gave these people login details.
That's a human error.
And then whilst they were there, they pretended to be EA staff, and people gave them access to more and more stuff. And they were never challenged. And then they eventually just downloaded, I can't remember the size of the files that they said they got hold of, but it was something like 5 terabytes of data that they managed to get off. And then they tried to sell it back to them for $28 million.
There's going to be
half the price.
There's going to be a little like bug inside of Battlefield where like a hacker flies in on the map and just says, "I hacked your system."
People creating the tornadoes wherever they want.
Yeah.
I just cannot believe how stupid that sounds.
Yeah,
no offense, people are stupid. It just happens.
They will need like proper security training with all their staff, like because now they have to add this scenario into the
well, it should be already in your manual. Like that's the one thing I learned of working at my first like organization I worked for, where I had a company
give out
email.
Your passwords.
It's like you don't give out information unless you know the person. So like if I've given like information to be like accessing certain things before, but that's just because the person was next to me and I know who the hell they are, or I was on a call with them and I know exactly who they are. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with giving you the information because I know you're working from home today because you're not in the
It's also
office
the
next to me. Like, it's common freaking sense, people.
like
They
maybe it
deserve
was
to
just
get robbed the way they did. No
them
offense.
working in the same department, and with all this work from home situation where you use Slack exclusively and you're not in the office, maybe like because if let's pretend the pandemic didn't happen and you were in the office and someone writes you on Slack about it, like why are you writing me on Slack when you could have just come to my desk or
Well,
something?
here's the
I don't
thing, Rafa. My first company I worked for, we were able to work from home at a couple days a week if we wanted to. So there were plenty of times that we used Microsoft Teams at the time. And so there are plenty of times that I've been communicated by somebody and we have it on our calendars to say if we're working from home or if we're working in the office. It's like, that's the other thing. They should have double checked of who the heck this person is
Yeah,
before they said yes. And they also,
You're telling me that the IT security department, who just sent out new login details, don't
right,
have a list of all the employees they can
exactly.
check off against?
And they always say, send me an email. I need a confirmation email to confirm it's you. It's like, yeah, because you have to be able to have access to your freaking email to be able to say that kind of stuff. And
people being
if not, I'm calling you and they know my voice and they know what number I'm calling from. It's like there's so many security measures, even our basic IT guys that would not be like, I no offense, I appreciate them, but I would not trust them with like corporate security type stuff of like EA. But even they're more competent than these people.
it's people being comfortable, because this doesn't happen on a daily basis and they can't recognize such a situation when they encounter it. So they were just like, oh, someone is asking me for the password. Yeah, I don't know.
But
Like,
who are
yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah, that's wrong. That's
How did
wrong.
they send in their message? Were they like, "Oh, it's Bob. Oh, okay, Bob. I know who you are." Or like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that I'm curious about is like, how in the world did they make them sound believable when they were trying to do
Yeah,
this?
and I think the other interesting thing is they were on the Slack channel for a long time pretending to be an employee.
There had been questions being like, "Who the hell is this guy? He's not on my team. Is he on your
Oh,
team? I'd never met
so
this
they
guy
actually
before." Like,
so Keith, did they actually took their time to
yeah,
Oh, they
get
took the
code?
time.
I
Yeah,
took their
they were.
time.
Oh, okay. So they didn't just pop up the same day there asking for passwords.
No, they logged in. And
Oh,
they pretended to be an EA employee for I think it was about a month or so,
Now
until
I
they
understand.
managed to get.
oh, there's your answer. There's
Well,
your answer.
Well, now I
Like,
understand as well that like these companies are constantly like releasing people from contracts or people are leaving and being rehired and all that kind of stuff. But even like when I review this stuff, a lot of the times, even at these big companies like EA, Activision, they actually take time out of their schedule to introduce you to everybody on your team. So like you should know if they are new or not.
Yeah, the whole situation is just bizarre.
It's bizarre.
Right. I've got a special question for Michael coming up. So, Mitch, what is EA allowing people to see through?
See through.
And it's not the source code for Frostbite.
I have no idea.
This is the fact that in EA's ongoing battle to try and prevent legislation around loot boxes because they love gambling. They fucking love gambling. They will allow players in FIFA to see what's inside the loot box before purchasing it.
in certain countries or everywhere?
Rafa's like, I want on this.
It's limited time only, and it should be across all
territories.
All territories. Thank you, Mitch. So it's for when you buy your premium packs. They'll let you see what chance that you'll get to get a certain player.
Don't care.
If you get, like, I don't know how they work. So if you've got gold, they'd be the top ones. You've got X number of gold players within this box. but you'll only get a chance to get one of them. So, but they'll show you all 10 or 8 or however many it is before you choose to buy. But then it's randomized as to which one you might get.
Mhm.
So they're trying to.
So it really doesn't do much. All it says is this is what. No, all it does is say this is what you could potentially get. At least, like,
Yeah.
I guess the one thing is you can actually see what is the options, instead of just being like a total shock and awe, being like, okay, this person's gold quality, this person's bronze quality player type thing. But it doesn't do anything. Here, I thought when you're thinking of see-through, I was thinking of Square Enix with everyone's IP addresses showing up on their Marvel's event.
That was going to be a different question. Well done.
They've done a similar thing with Rocket League, which that change was permanent. So it's kind of confusing why FIFA is doing this on a limited time basis.
Because they make plenty of money and they don't need to change their practices.
Yeah, so you can only preview a certain number of packs a day, and then you've got to wait until tomorrow before you can then preview more packs.
So limited in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still really underhand. I still really hate everything about it.
It's stupid.
Is this pleasing the authorities?
But I doubt it, because it doesn't actually take away any of the elements that make it gambling. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's gambling.
Even if it's a see-through duck, it's still a duck.
Yeah. They're trying to come up with more and more contrived ways to try and appease governments from slapping regulation on them. Well, if it was worth $1.62 billion just from FIFA, you try and figure out ways to do it as well, but it's just really, really sickening. Like I said earlier, I have no strong feelings about it. Mitch, would you like to continue? Who's been which Marvel character has been oversharing?
That is Square Enix. Unfortunately, yeah, the IP addresses have been showing up on your Marvel's Avengers game right now with the new update. So don't play it online. Don't play it. Oh my God, you're asking for that's it's in the corner of your screen, and so you shouldn't stream it. Basically, is what they're saying. But then here's the thing. It's basically like EA's Slack email issue. It's like you're asking to get hacked. So, how they can be so irresponsible, I don't understand.
Who previewed the new build? And they didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't. Oh my God! Rigorous testing is something that I don't doubt that they don't rigorous test, but I don't know what scenario this got missed, or like, do they not test of like, oh, let's stream the game and see what happens?
Because it was limited to PlayStation, so maybe they only tested it on PC.
I have no idea. I don't know. It's flabbergasting.
I think we'll make bizarre the word of the day with all of these news stories, because they are all absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it's bonkers. I don't know. It's because I'm still relatively young, and I'm in this industry of like being able to like, have a fully developed brain, and like visualizing and seeing the world of how it's turning into in regards to like these companies. I don't know if this companies just got stupider as I've gotten older, because to be truthfully honest,
no, they've always been this bad.
I don't recall seeing this kind of crap. Well, and I guess half of it's also is like the world we're in now has changed in regards to these games can evolve as you release them, because you now can patch them instead of having a fully patched game when you release it.
And there were no Jason Schreiers in the past, or
that's not what I mean, I guess, necessarily. I'm talking about in regards to like just stupid mistakes that they're making with their games when they release them post.
No, I think it happened before as well.
Yeah, like I don't think it happened as often though, and I think that it might be also because the internet, we are able to instantaneously see like, oh my God, don't play Marvel's Avengers on PS4. Look what it shows on my screen right now. Like it's easy to like do that. But I just
Now, Square Enix could be
flabbergasted.
facing fines from the EU for breach of the general data protection regulations.
I mean, no offense to Square Enix. I wish I did it and had it because then I could maybe sue them and get some of that cut of that chunk of change. Because Marvel's Avengers did make them a lot of money.
Yeah, shame it's a terrible game. Terrible, terrible game. Right. And special question for Michael is sad. If there was some sad music that we could play in the background, I think that would be appropriate.
I don't have any prepared. You should have told me ahead of time. I would have got some.
Whose thefts are being shut down on PS3 and Xbox 360?
I found sad music. Just a second.
Don't do that because we'll get licensed on. Can't play licensed music on Twitch.
No, I searched for royalty-free music. Yeah, Rockstar is shutting down the servers for GTA Online and not just that, for GTA Online, LA Noir, which apparently also had multiplayer. Yeah, it did. Max Payne free, and yeah, these free games on PS3 and X360. However, the servers for GTA 4 are still live. I don't know if I think PS3 as well, because when I played it, I think I played it last year on PS3 GTA 4, and for the lose I tried to go online and it let me, but there was no one to play with. But the servers were still up. So yeah,
Because no
that's
one likes Nico Bellic. No one likes Nico, my cousin, Nico.
So
Yeah.
how sad do you feel about those servers getting switched off?
I mean, it's interesting because there are a lot of people that still game on those machines, you know. So maybe like there are all these people that really like we're we're in the minority where we keep up with gaming and buy new hardware and afford it, and we are really lucky for that. But in some cases, like there are people that just are with 2 generations behind, and that's their system. And unless they find the PS4 for like the next console for like 100 pounds or even lower, they won't upgrade, you know. So yeah, you have a ton of people playing playing these games online on those systems. People that have actually spent a lot of money on shark cards for GTA Online and other things for the other two games, and now you are taking all of that away. However, when you first go online on any of these games, you sign an agreement. You are being told that this is not forever and that Rockstar is entitled to do this at some point if they see fit. And yeah, you can't really rally against that. Uh, it's something normal, and that like GTA 5 came out in September 2013, so it's almost 8 years since that happened. GT Online came out the next month on October, right? So yeah, like this October there will be 8 months, which is shorter. Like it's a shorter amount than other games. Like usually you get that for like after 10 years or so. Like it could have
Well,
resisted.
so how good are Rockstar at carrying over your progress?
So when they released it for GTA for PS4 for the Gen 8, you had an option to transfer your character. Like each time they released it. When they released later after that the game on PC, you could transfer your character to PC if you wanted. And I expect that now you could do the same thing, like transfer your character to the latest version. The problem with that is that you can't do a backwards transfer. right?
But it doesn't even matter because you can't anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think also people understand technology moves forward. You can't use your 7-year-old iPhone anymore to play some of your apps. Like it's just not possible anymore. So like we are already trained in that aspect that I think people understand. It's like, yeah, this game's been out for 10 years. And it's not like you can't go play the new version when you go get the new console. Like I don't see an issue. It's like
it hasn't been updated in 6 years.
And even the turnaround, if the turnaround is shorter, it's only because technology is only moving faster and people catch up to that and pick up on that. And maybe
it's also a hacking heaven at this point.
And if really they are crying over GTA Online, like, or Neo, oh jeez, I can't even say the word. The
Neomorphism,
Neo Lemoire, or whatever it's called.
LA Noire.
Thank you, LA Noire. So I don't even know what I was saying. Morning. It's early.
That Red Bull hasn't kicked in enough.
No, not enough. Not enough. I mean, I drank over half of it. But basically, if people are crying over that, then I have no sympathy.
I mean, Fortnite will shut down eventually. We
What?
may be in our fifth. Sorry, Fortnite is going to shut down eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But when the time it does shut down, barely no one's going to be playing it, or they will find their next new fad that they want to play. Like it's not like it's like we're cutting the cord at its hype day. We're cutting the cord when the thing is hanging by the ledge.
Yeah.
Because you even said I played GTA 4 and no one was on. That's why they're cutting the cord. It doesn't justify, and that's fine.
People played on PC. It was just not on the PS3.
Part of it is okay. With GTA Online, they want people to move to playing it on new hardware, and it's probably also if people aren't playing it on new hardware, how likely are those people to be spending money on shark cards and various other things? They're more likely just to be there.
Content that incentivize you to get to pay real money to get those shark cards, like you're not getting it in the older versions. So they want.
So that's another reason that they want to shut it down is save money on the servers, but also try and push people into the new versions to increase revenue.
It's like when Xbox tried to raise the price of Xbox Gold because they wanted them on Game Pass, and then people said, "F you, that's not okay because Game Pass isn't worth the money." And
Game Pass is definitely worth the money, and anyone who said so is a raging Nintendo fanboy. Evan.
Yeah.
Right. Last question for this week, Mitch. Who's increasing the capacity for their stadia?
Increasing the capacity.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming Google, but I don't even know what this story's about.
I know the answer, may
Go for it.
If I'm not mistaken, you mean the xCloud server upgrade?
Oh.
No. It is Google Stadia. It is right. So which of the major publishers have decided that they want Ubisoft?
Yeah.
They announced at the beginning of the month that they will be adding 10 more Ubisoft titles to the Google Stadia failure for some reason.
Gosh, if Ubisoft should be doubling down on anything, double down on Luna. The thing hasn't even come out yet.
It's another storefront for them. It's another storefront. They don't mind.
No, but you're giving them away for free.
Really?
That's what I thought.
No.
It's
part of the
Google
subscription
streaming service. Yeah, it's I don't know what level. If you Google Stadia's failed. I don't know if this is some kind of contractual obligation that they needed to fulfill, but
It
I
might
can
be.
understand
I wouldn't be
putting
shocked
Rainbow
if
Six
that's what it
Siege on
is.
there because that's free to play. But yeah, it's just again, it's just bizarre
So
that
no,
you continue to
I just read
support a
right now.
failed platform.
You need to be. So here's the thing: you need to have Ubisoft Plus. You don't need to have Stadia Pro. If you have just Stadia and also own Ubisoft Plus, their subscription, you can access those games through cloud on Stadia.
It's a waste.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
suppose.
It's still not a storefront because you have to have the subscription to you. It's basically just saying, oh, if you
yeah,
have Stadia, we didn't leave you. That's all they're saying.
yeah, I was wrong about that.
It
So
is all. It is all of the older titles, other than Rainbow Six Siege, which is free to play. So you've got Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed 3, Far Cry 4. Okay, Far Cry 6 is coming to Stadia. Why?
I was really hopeful they would get in an agreement with Microsoft to bring the Ubisoft Plus to Game Pass, but I guess they would be losing money because they like their subscription costs as much as Game Pass Ultimate.
mm-hmm.
And the deal with EA was like, you're not giving us EA Play Pro, you're giving us just EA Play, which is their vault of games. That's a smaller subscription, and
On
Ubisoft doesn't have that.
Sounded like you were surprised by your cough. Oh,
no, it was a bit. My throat, my hay fever's playing up at the moment.
They are only in media instead of.
I heard Nintendo invented hay fever, and Xbox are trying to find a cure. It will probably be through some kind of monthly subscription model. I don't know. I'm just assuming. So I don't understand. I understand somewhat the choice of games that Ubisoft have put forward, but why not Far Cry 5, why 4 and 6? And then Primal Blood Dragon, Rayman Legends, Child of Light, Rainbow Six Siege is the only one. Well, Rainbow Six and Far Cry, Rainbow Six Siege and Far Cry 6, pretty much the only two on here that make any sense because they're the only ones that people might actually want to pay for or pay microtransactions in. But
Yeah.
The whole thing just makes me think that there was a contractual obligation that they needed to fulfill because even Google aren't supporting Stadia anymore. So I'm just confused again. Bizarre.
I mean, I've nothing to say.
Or maybe this is just the start of Ubisoft Plus on Stadia, and they will be adding more titles.
Well, they could take it over. Is that what you're thinking?
I see, because this is how I see it. It's Ubisoft Plus coming on Stadia, not those games necessarily. And
that's not what was announced. There was announced the specific titles. So if they do say you can link your Ubisoft Play Plus
and
passport.
However, I assume you can buy those games individually on Stadia if you wanted, right?
Yeah, because Stadia is just a storefront now.
Yeah.
It's a streaming storefront.
Streaming storefront that, just like your online GTA account, can disappear at any moment and lose all that money.
And I guess Ubisoft wanted
no, they will send you the zip files for the games that you bought. They've said that they'll do that.
And since xCloud and the Game Pass for Ubisoft is a no-go because they would be losing money, I'm thinking they just wanted to check off the list the fact that you can play some of their games through cloud. So they went with Stadia. They are bringing Ubisoft Plus over there and some of their titles, and the list will just keep getting longer in time because right now Stadia has a much higher adoption than what Umage suggested Luna, which is not even out. So I don't know. I think they just saw the opportunity to do that and just say like, you can play our games via streaming.
Well, just in my mind is who has more money, Microsoft or Google? Google. So they probably just paid them off and said, hey, I know we're a dying
That's another
platform.
thing.
It doesn't matter. We'll give you a boatload of money and just put your stuff on it. So we
You know,
seem still relevant. That's what their hope is. They just want to hang
yeah.
in there. They just want to hang in there to seem relevant and just be there. And I don't know what the end game plan is anymore for Google Stadia. But just in my mind,
Just to be
it's at the
a
moment
cloud.
it's either just hang in there until we get shut down, or it's just okay. Let's try to be a little more aggressive, and because EA
I
Play
don't.
already has a commitment to Microsoft, let's pull in Ubisoft instead and do that, which makes sense in a strategy wise. But
People,
in the end, it still doesn't change everyone's outlook on Google Stadia.
No,
I think the
Stadia is a
platform, they will keep improving the platform as it is. People, I don't know why people got this impression that that they threw in the towel. Yeah, they closed their studios, but they are holding on to this product. Like, mm,
Here's the thing, Rafa, and this is why everyone thinks they've thrown in the towel. What is the one thing that convinces people to buy a specific platform? Exclusive content, exclusive games. Why do I buy a PlayStation? Because I can only play, well, at the moment, that some of them are coming to PC, but it's just dependent. But at the moment, I can only play Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West, I mean. I can only play God of War Ragnarok. I can only play Ratchet and Clank on a PlayStation. I can't play it on
you
Microsoft. I can't play it on Nintendo. I can't play it on Google Stadia. I have to buy that platform to play those games. That's why. So if Google Stadia has all the other games that all the other platformers have, what's my incentive to buy Google Stadia? Nothing. Because I can
yeah,
play it on my PlayStation that I already have. I can play it on my PC I already have. I already have outlets I can play these games on. So without the first party, and that's why, like, hell, that's why Microsoft is so emboldened to buy all these studios, because they realized when we don't have first party platform stuff, we don't win. We could never win because we don't have an incentive for someone to buy our platform. Now they now have Game Pass, which is a new reason to try to buy a Microsoft, buy into the Microsoft ecosystem.
it's a
But
great reason to buy into the
but it's
Microsoft
still but
ecosystem,
even
especially when
but
the greatest video games of this year, the Yakuza franchise, are all there.
But even
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but even so, like, even with Game Pass, it's still not enough. They need first party games, and that's why they bought so many
I agree
studios to
with
do
you.
it. And that's why Nintendo sells. Like, there's no way for
I
Studio Stadia to win if they don't have first party.
I agree with you from the standpoint of the ecosystem because right now it's not very appealing to like if you are also on other platforms to go on Stadia as well. So maybe it's just people that aren't on any of the other platforms and just want like a streaming thing and they decide to go instead of I don't know why they would not go with xCloud, but who knows? Maybe that
But
will
here's
happen in the
Rafa, you're talking
just a
about
second,
the
just a second. You don't need hardware anymore to access Stadia. That was a thing in the beginning. You had to have that specific controller. You had to have that specific dongle if it was for your. You still need a Chromecast, but now you can pretty much access it on your phone and on your PC, laptop, whatever, with your own personal controller. So I don't think it. There's no price to enter the Stadia ecosystem. I agree with you that the library is not very appealing, and you'd rather
And
go
also the
somewhere.
pricing model,
but
because
you guys are missing a huge point, and I get it, Rafa. We're way more tech savvy than your average consumer. We're way more tech savvy than your average consumer. People still don't know game services, game streaming, Game Pass even exist. Your
So
average casual person does not know that. And how does these platforms become successful is you get the casual audience. So at the moment, Google Stadia is way too far into the future. And either their marketing is horrible to the point they can't be able to explain that
yeah,
to be able
they
to
don't do
get
it.
people to understand, but at the same time, reliable internet is still a difficulty in the States. There are rural areas in this country where you cannot get a real signal. I'm in LA, and here's an example. I'm in LA. I use Wi-Fi from all my clients. They allow us to use Wi-Fi. I can have super fast Wi-Fi in my apartment. I'm fortunate that I get that. I go down to the southern part of Los Angeles, and one of my clients down there, their internet, I can't even stream. I can't even watch a Sony State of Play at 360p at a consistent frame rate. I have to go down to 240p to be able to watch a stream. That's how bad their internet is. And I go to someone else's house in that same area, and their internet works awesome. It's extremely inconsistent. So to say that your only platform, like, yes, the entry fee may be cheaper, but you have to have all these other technologies that have to be reliable. And that's not what is happening at this moment. Okay. We are not there. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. So like to rely on xCloud or even streaming services in general, it's just a plus. It can't be your base. That's what
especially right now. What I would ask, because you did some bold predictions at the end of last week's show, bold prediction, what year do we think Google will shit can Stadia?
Oh yeah, we did. I forgot we did a bold prediction last week. Rafa can go first. I'm thinking.
After all, I don't know. I still think 2 years is too soon for, especially for everyone that actually spent money buying games there.
Google don't care about that. They said that if they shut it down, they'll send you a zip file.
What are they going to do? Like this is a problem. This is a problem that can hurt the image of game streaming forever.
You signed a contract. You signed a contract just like you did with GTA.
I paid for some games that, like, because everyone is like, okay, even digitally, I expect to be owning those games forever. Like I know that each console has like
you will own it. You'll own it as a zip file on your desktop.
I mean, Rafa, the difference between that and not in Google Stadia is you can download it to your hard drive and it stays there forever. Google Stadia, you have to have a server to stream it.
Well,
so
as it turns out, the PS3 has a clock, and eventually the PS3 will stop working. Like that hardware will just die someday. You know.
Yeah.
Everything will die. Like my disc won't work if my PlayStation dies. Like, yeah, of course, it's hinged on the hardware still working, but the game is there and playable without your internet connection. It doesn't rely on the streaming. Like it's, like earlier you talked about GTA and signing that contract to say, hey, this service can disappear on a whim. That's what you're doing with Google Stadia. We all know this when we're signing up for Google Stadia, that how can you stream something without the internet? How can you stream something without the service existing?
Right. But
clearly you're buying
something you perceive as free. You know, like it's a service. It's one
Google Stadia isn't free. It's a service you pay for. You pay for the game and you pay for the game.
No. Of course, you pay each. It's free if you don't want 4K. Like if you want to use only 1080p, you get it for free, but you buy the games.
You get what you pay for. If you want reliability, that's why it costs more. Like it's like if you're playing a game on your phone and there's a free version and then there's the paid version. Like, of course, the free version is not going to be the ultimate experience that that's reliable and what you expect.
People are used with online features going away. They are not used with buying a full-priced game on a streaming service and then losing it when the streaming service goes away. Like, this would be the first time it happens. Right?
Well, if Netflix dies away, we lose all our movies that we pay for.
Or if you pay the subscription, you didn't pay individually.
Amazon Video, Prime Video. I own loads of stuff on Amazon Prime Video. If Amazon decides to shut down Prime Video, I've lost
same thing with my Google Movies. Like same thing.
But it's successful, and it doesn't seem likely.
But it could still happen. We can't. A pandemic happened last year. We can never predict.
We're still in it.
we're still in it.
Well, that supposedly made them even more money because everyone was saying.
But again, Rafa,
Not
you're
Stadia.
missing
Didn't make
the
Stadia
point.
any
You're
more
missing
money.
the point is that we can never predict the future. Nothing is ever for certain. And the only thing that we can say about games is for certain is you have a console right next to you, and if it works, in regards to like the machine itself, you can play your game. Like people know going.
Unless you're playing on an Xbox Series X with hidden DRM.
Going off of Google's track record of being a spineless company and shutting down all their projects, yes, then I can see it in 2-3 years this thing goes away.
I was going to say 2023 it gets shut down.
I think like that will be ugly. I don't know. Maybe they'll offer some compensation of some sort. They don't need to because again, as we stated, it's written in the thing you sign in the beginning.
EULA.
Yeah, but yeah.
Haven't you seen that South Park episode? Make sure you read what you sign, or else you might get your face sewed into someone's mouth. I mean, sorry, someone's ass sewed into your mouth. Have you not seen the Human Centipede episode?
Yeah.
So one of the characters did not read the terms of service from Apple, and they decide to agree to everything. And so then they agreed to be part of a human centipede where you agreed to have your mouth sewn to the ass of another person and be part of an experimental thing. And they kept saying, you signed it, you read it, and then, yeah, it was great. And
right. So I'm saying 2023. Michael's procrastinating and pontificating. Mitch, give me a year.
2020. If it's going to happen, it will happen in 2025. I only give them a little extra time because, like Rafa said, there's Game Pass with xCloud. It's not as known in regards to. There's also Amazon. Like once Amazon kicks in, who knows? Maybe, and I don't foresee it, but with Luna coming into the
something else,
well,
maybe something else, and then you can make use of it. And they maybe also do it in steps. So they first close the storefront and people get to play the games they paid for a few more years. Right?
No, that's not Google's way. Google's way. They're just going to cut the cord. It's ending and it's gone.
Yep. It's going to end in 2 months. Enjoy. But I think maybe with Luna it might offer a gateway that, like, even if they're not satisfied with Luna, they'd be like, oh, Google Stadia. Okay, I do Google. Like, because, Amazon, people use it, but at the same time, it also has a bad taste in people's mouths in regards to Jeff Bezos, and especially with his not paying taxes. And yes, I signed the petition to say that he could not come back to Earth. I said only if he has to pay a tax, maybe a toll, when you have to like go visit a place.
Just as he enters through the atmosphere, they'll
the only way,
create a little
toll station, toll bell station, and just be like, please pay your taxes. Thank you.
My prediction is that if we're going to hear something about any movement into this direction where they close the service down, we may hear it sometime in 2024. I think.
All right, so I'm the most pessimistic. Who would have thunk that?
We'll see who's right.
And on that note,
I almost missed it.
I feel bad having this music on with Matt not being here.
Why is that?
He gets excited about the music every time. It's quite nice to know that someone gets excited about the music at the end of a podcast.